Dear devotees and friends, today, this Saturday, the first Saturday morning, the Hindu temple of Greater Chicago, Lemont, we are supposed to go over there. We don't know when we will go. Maybe after 4 or 5 months, everything will be normal by the grace of the Divine Mother. But now, we are giving the discourse as we are supposed to give over there. The last 2020 we have studied a great book, Ashtavakra Samhita. And the Ashtavakra, you know that Rishi, the great Rishi, he took us through the path of knowledge, and in a place where we felt that we need not to bother about God, worship, and praying, nothing. It is only me and nothing left over there. There is a great teaching, and this is the specialty of the Hinduism. So many people, among the Hindus also, some controversies are there, doubts are there, misunderstandings are there, thinking, what is this Hinduism? Suppose you go and you see that a person is worshipping a stone, and he will be saying with great devotion, this is my God, this is the Shiva or the Krishna. And sometimes they will be worshipping the animals or the trees or the big hills, like that, the sky, the sun. So like that they will be worshipping. Then there are so many varieties of gods and goddesses, the images. And the same God having different type of forms also. The goddess Durga in the eastern part of India having the 10 hands. And the same goddess Durga known as Sherewali in the northern part of India having 6 hands. But the Hindus, it is okay for them. They will go to 10 hands Durga, they will go to 6 hands Durga. For them there is no problem. So this is the way all the Hinduism. So there is a lot of confusion. But the Hindus, they start worshipping a stone, thinking that is God. And the same Hindu ultimately reaches to a place, a point where he says, I am that. And he never says that I am God. He says, I am that. That is the consciousness. The consciousness that is everywhere. So this is the way we have to understand. And when there is a knowledge, we call it consciousness. We call it Brahman. And the same thing, when another approach is there, through devotion, we call it Vishnu, the God, the all-pervading God or all-pervading consciousness. Friends, from the beginning of this year, 2021, and I should say Happy New Year to all of you, and let this year we begin with devotion, bhakti. And another great personality, Narada, he will be teaching us the bhakti, the devotion. And we will study Narada Bhakti Sutra. I will mainly follow the book that is by Narada Bhakti Sutra by Swami Bhuteshananda ji. And this has been published by the Advaita Ashram, Calcutta. These copies of the books are available from the Vedanta Society bookstore. Online you can place order. And slowly, page after page, aphorism after aphorism, we will go. Mainly 84 aphorisms are there, not much, but it will take long time to explain. And this is the devotional path we will follow. That was the path of knowledge, and this will be the path of devotion, the bhakti. And before starting, every time we will chant this mantra. Yasya smarana matrena janma samsara bandhanat vimuchyate Namastasmai Vishnave Prabhavishnave Yasya Smarana Matrena. I bow down to that great Lord, the Vishnu, the great God. Just by mere remembering His name, remembering Him, one becomes free from all the bondages. Yasya Smarana Matrena. Smarana, just remembering. And Matra, immediately, the moment you are remembering, immediately you are free from all the bondages. Janma samsara bandhanat. Janma and samsara. Janma means the birth, and samsara, that which is constantly changing. That if we are having that constantly changing means birth, and then it goes for 6 changes, and ultimately it is death. So birth and death, the two ends, and there are so many changes. In Sanskrit it says Jayate, Asti, Bardhate, Vipariniyamate, Vipakshiyate and Mriyate. Jayate is birth and Mriyate is the death. Then it is the growth, then the decay and all that. 6 different changes. And these changes, because of the change, there is no true happiness. It can never be. But by mistake, all the time we are thinking that we will be happy if I get this, if I achieve that, if it is possible to reach over there, and so many ways. After coming over here in America and coming in contact with different people, as because we are monks, so obviously we see the every walks of life, all people, and I find the people, the very highly qualified people, and they were so successful but still not happy after reaching over here in America. But in other places, the developing countries or underdeveloped countries, they are, if you go and say that it is America, they think it is the heaven. Even after reaching to this so-called heaven, and after completing, and when we come over here, particularly from India, they are all after successfully they have to complete some of the courses, then only they are coming. So they are not taking the asylums. They are coming as a student, they are professor, and after the different positions. But even after coming over here, I have seen that many of the Indians are suffering. Why? The achievement, we think that if we get the achievement and we will get joy. No. Why? This is samsara. This is the system. Whatever we try to get, and it is going to slip out of my hand, that is called samsara. And that is the reason this religion. Why religion then? Suppose I am very happy. I have studied, I achieved a job or business, I got money, or everything that people they need, I am having those things. Then I am supposed to be happy, but still people are not happy. Why? That is the question. And from that question, religion begins. Only and only realization of the God can give us the happiness, nothing else. And how to realize God? That according to the aptitudes, according to the temperaments, the Hindus have given the 4 paths. It's not only one way. The only one coat is there, whether it fit you or not, you have to put it on, not like that. They say there is a path of knowledge, and we have studied the whole 2020. It is all in the YouTube. If you are interested, you can go. And many other Swamis have also given the talk on that, Ashtabhakra Samhita, the great path that leads us through the path of knowledge. And we cannot imagine this, when there in the scripture it says, why should I have to pray? Why should I have to meditate? Why should I have to do puja? Oh my God, is this any religion denying everything? And that is the highest spirituality. Because then you have merged with that consciousness. The disciple, the Janaka, he was a king. He had to maintain the worldly attitudes also, because his kingdom means the administration. But at the same time, that Janaka, that person, he reached to that point. Why? The most of the time they say that if it is a monk, he gave up everything, all attachment, there is no bondage, no responsibility, maybe it is possible for him. And that is why they gave the example of the Janaka. The Janaka, there was the one who was having the great responsibility of a king. But at the same time, his mind was completely withdrawn from all the sense objects. And he reached into that highest. So these are the points, these are the things that we should learn. It is possible for anyone, any moment, any time, to reach to that. And what we achieve after reaching over there? Two things. One, fearlessness. There is no end, so why should I be afraid? There is nothing that I am going to achieve or to get, nothing to afraid of. The completely fearlessness. And at the same time, full of joy, full of bliss, not depending on any object, anything of this world, for that joy or the bliss. So it is within, constant joy. And that fearlessness and the joy gives complete satisfaction. Santosha. In Sanskrit they say santosha. Complete contentment. I am very happy. And all the time you have to say like that, I am very happy. So this feeling of contentment, I don't have anything to achieve. I don't have anything to get. I don't have anything to do. Nothing is there. By that way he is completely contained and he is happy, and that is the ultimate of the spiritual life. The most of the time we think the spiritual life means is a sort of a security, it's a sort of an insurance that after the death we will go to heaven and there will be a comfortable place for me, and whatever we are having over here, and 10 times, 100 times more joy and happiness and all merriment will be there in the heaven. It is only the temptation that the scripture they always offer for the ordinary minds to go like that. The parents always say to their children, and if you are studying well, going to the school every day, then you will get this, you will get that. That young mind is not very aware about the knowledge. He doesn't know or she doesn't know what is going to happen in the school. And only because of that father told, if you are attending this and become fast, then I will give you a bicycle. And for the temptation of the bicycle, they are studying. And slowly, they develop the love for knowledge and they understand. So then those people become professors, teachers, scientists. So this is the way it goes in our ordinary life. And the same way also, they will say, if you are doing good work, and slowly you will reach into a place where you will get all the joy, and that place is known as heaven. But ultimately what? And they say, ultimately you have to merge with that ideology. That is called God. That is called the holiness. So friends, we will study that path of devotion, how the path of devotion will take us to that. And we will, this path different, there are many other teachers also, but we will follow the steps of the Narada, aphorisms of the teachings of Sri Narada. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, in this age, particularly in this Kali Yuga, in this age when our minds are constantly running outside. If you have noticed, Each and every place if you go where people are waiting, they are not talking with each other. They are not looking anywhere. They are all looking to their palms, because there, as the smartphone is there, he is going on chatting, talking, listening, hearing. The mind is always outside. Paranchikani Batrinath Sayambhu Tasmat Parang Pashyati Na Antaratma. So in the Kathopanishad it says, as if a very hard taskmaster father has asked the children to go out because he is not happy with the children. They are not listening to him. He said, go out of my house. Paranchikani Batrinath Sayambhu. Who is that Sayambhu? The self-created Sayambhu. And that means the Supreme Lord, Supreme God, the Brahman, and asked the children, that is, all our senses, the eye, the nose, the taste, and the touch, go out of my place, the father said. And all these 5 children, they have gone out, as if they can't come back to their home. So that is the way, the description. Kaschid dhira pratyagatmanam aikshat abritta chakshu amritattamichan. In the Kathopanishad, beautifully, it mentioned that the father has asked them to go out, but some of them, kaschid dhiraha, those who are very contented, very calm, very composed, have understood the folly of this world, they close their eyes. They close their eyes to see within. Paranchikani Batrinath Sayambhu Tashmat Parang Pashyati Na Antaratma. They only go outside and see the other objects of the outside, not inside. But someone, kaschid, sometimes someone will sit in one place, close his eyes, withdraw all the senses and go to that place. And that is withdrawn, and he understands what is the truth. So that is, we have to withdraw our senses, sense organs, but to the path of the bhakti, the devotion, that we will do. So Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said that in this age, that Narada Bhakti is the best application. If we have to realize God, try to follow the path of Narada. Why? Because we will come to those. The Narada is teaching us all the 3 together: devotion, knowledge, and action. Karma and the jnana and bhakti all come together. Of course, you have to have the yoga. Otherwise, how can you concentrate your mind? You have to make all your indriyas one-pointed, and you have to go over there. So, dear friends, dear devotees, we will continue in this way. And as Swamivivekananda said, you are the maker of your own destiny. We are the makers of our own destiny. And we have to choose a path of knowledge, okay, but very difficult, very, very difficult. And mostly we always try to depend on someone. Sometimes we need the support of the people, support of someone, maybe parents, maybe teacher, maybe God, and also like to go and say to someone that these are the things happening. So this is the normal, easy way. But the path of knowledge, no, you cannot depend on anyone. And you cannot blame anyone. You cannot, everything is only you. It's really, really difficult. Only few people can do. Of all the disciples of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Swamivivekananda was the perfect aspirant for the student, for the jnana. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna taught him the jnana marga. But all they were exalted characters. But even then, they taught that you should go through the path of devotion. It is easy. very natural, normal. So we will develop that. And we will study this Narada Bhakti Sutra, and this is the Sanatana Dharma we will follow. Kali Yuge Naradiya Bhakti, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said. Kali Yuga means this present age. What is the speciality of the Kali Yuga? It says all speed and grabbing. If you see that the Kali is sitting on a horse, as if, this is my explanation, Kali has different explanation, and Swamivivekananda said the day Sri Ramakrishna was born, from that very day, Satya Yuga, the dawn of Satya Yuga has come. Slowly it will change. It takes long time to change. It's not just the morning and evening. It's a Yuga. Yuga is the long period of time. So naturally it will take, but slowly it is going to change. But at present it's the speed, because the symbol of Kali is the horse. And then it's going on, the knowledge, tremendous knowledge, is going on cutting the ignorance. But the difficulty is grabbing. It wants everything. I want this, I want that. I want to reach out there, I want to reach out there. And everything. Now the businessmen, previously they were so happy doing little business in a small group, and then slowly they started visiting the next city and the next country, and now all over the world, some of the companies they are having everywhere. I wonder who is the owner of that company. Everywhere they are and grabbing the whole market, not completely unsatisfied all the time. I have to get everything. That is the Kali. Everything is to grab. Exactly opposite we have to go. And that is called everything giving up. I don't need anything. To realize God, only thing that we need is to the capacity to give up everything. I don't want anything. The worldly mind means I like to possess, I like to grab, I like to have. And the spiritual mind means I like to give up everything. Swamivivekananda said, give everything, whatever best you have. And in return, never ask anything. So that is the way, the spiritual life. That is the spiritual life. But practices may be from the jnana, from the bhakti, from the karma, or from the yoga. There are 4 paths that has been offered by the Hinduism, by the Sanatana Dharma. That will take you to the goal. You can practice one, or you can club all the 4. Ramakrishna Mission, particularly Swamivivekananda, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, is clubbed all the 4 paths. Jnana, Bhakti, Karma and Yoga. If you see the symbol that was drawn by Swamivivekananda himself, you will find that all the 4 yogas are combined there, and it is leading us to the goal of spirituality. And now, who is leading us at this moment? It is Narada. This Sri Narada, and where from we get the idea about the Narada? It says, the Chandogya Upanishad describe the Narada. A young man, he is going to Sanat Kumar, a great teacher. And this young man is going to the teacher and telling him, Sir, I have studied everything, but I am not at all happy. I don't know why. I have studied the art, the science, and the philosophy, the scripture, the music, but how come that I am not happy? The knowledge I am having, still I am not happy. This is a wonderful question. What is the goal of human life? To become happy. But most of the time, particularly in India and the Eastern country, they always say that you have to become somebody in the society. So become a doctor, become an engineer, become a professor, become a scientist. So they will always inspire the children to become someone. They're okay, they will become someone. Then afterwards, no joy, no happiness. So we have to teach the children, try your best, whatever you can learn, but the goal is to be happy. The boys and girls, they should learn to be happy. They should develop how to live together, how to adjust with others, how to accommodate others. Otherwise, the ego conflict and suffering. And when there is suffering, then only the psychiatric people, they are earning, and the lawyers, because the breakage. So that is the way. Is this the human life? No. The wrong thing that we are doing, the religion means it takes our mind to a correct and right directions, and we have to teach our children the happiness is the goal of life. And that happiness you may get from some of the external thing of the world. But sometimes you have achieved some success, little happiness, and you have got that little happiness. But the ultimate happiness will come from within. So that is called religion. Don't have any misconception about the religion. What we do in the temple, in the churches, in the synagogues, in the all the places, religious worship places, they're external. But real religion means it is joy and happiness within. So that external things we should not take, that is the final thing and we should fight. No. That will only help me. But ultimate thing is the joy. That we will learn from the Narada. And in his life we find in the Shatra Upanishad that Chandaka Upanishad, the Narada is approaching to the teacher, and he's a great teacher, Sanat Kumar. The 4 Kumaras, many of you know, again and again we have discussed about that. The Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatan and Sanat Kumar. These 4 Kumaras, they are the great teachers. Narada is going to them. So we can say this is historical and not imaginative. Narada is a character, and it is there in the Chandaka Upanishad. He is going and asking the teacher. All this, when we listen, when we read, all the references leads us to that conclusion. Narada is a historical personality. And this Narada, of course, when he asked what happened, they say that there are 2 ways, there are 2 types of knowledges. And this is not the answer of the Sanat Kumar, but in one of the Upanishad, when another person is coming and asking this question, then he said, Dve vidde veditabbe itihasmayat brahmavido vadanti. There are 2 types of knowledge. Then it gives the list. Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda, Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Chanda, Niruktam, Yotishamiti. All this is secondary knowledge. It won't continue. Even the Vedas, even the knowledge of the Vedas. There are so many things we have read. A time will come, and in the old age, nothing will remain. You won't be able to remember even the name of the person standing by your side. The time come. But the experience, the spiritual experience, the God-realized experience, it will never leave you. So, Paravidya and Aparavidya. Then the highest knowledge is, they say, Yaya tad aksharam adigamyate, by which that akshara, which never decay, that means the Brahman, the ultimate God, the supreme God, the Vishnu, who is all pervading, it is always there. It will there. So these 2 types of Narada, he had the first type of knowledge, And he said, I have started art, science, music, philosophy, scripture, religious scriptures. But why I am not happy? Then the Sanat Kumar will give him the teaching. So this is again we hear in the Bhagavata, and it narrates a brief account of Narada's childhood. Narada's mother was a maid servant, and she used to work in a Brahmin's family. There many holy people used to visit. Narada's mother couldn't say that in the Brahmin's family the maid servants they used to leave, but Narada never could see his father or heard about him. The mother never said anything about the father. But it was no problem. So this is our society. It doesn't matter where you were born, which family, it doesn't matter at all. But sometime afterwards, some people, because they like to keep the Brahmin thing the highest, so they say, no, that was the past life of the Narada. In the next birth, he was the son of the Brahma. So we need not to bother about that. It is not the birth, it is the achievement, it is the knowledge. So Narada was born in that. And this is Hinduism. We should not try to cover up. This is the truth. It doesn't matter anything. The Brahmana means one who has achieved that Brahman. So that is Brahmana. And that way the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, etc., according to the working capacity. It is not by birth. Again and again it's said in different scriptures. And here it says, Narada said, that I was born of a lady who was a maid servant. I never knew about my father. But I had a great opportunity over there, because that gentleman, the family where my mother used to work as a maid servant, they used to invite holy people, learned people, and mostly, almost every day there would be the discussions, debates. So I had the opportunity to go and listen to those discourses. I had the opportunity to go very close to the holy people, to serve them. And I used to listen to them, to what they are discussing. And slowly, I developed faith in the existence of God, and I developed love for God. That is the Narada. And then he was very young. And who is that? Narada didn't mention. One of the great soul who was visiting there gave the mantra diksha and initiation to the Narada. Narada was blessed by that. And when this was, the Narada wanted to go out, but the mother will cry. The Narada felt that I should go and sit somewhere and concentrate completely on this spiritual development. But the mother was there. How to leave that poor mother? So when this was happening, then one day his mother was going to the cowshed. And when she was going, it was dark night. And suddenly, and unfortunately, she was bitten by a poisonous snake. And she died over there. Everybody said, what will happen to Narada? But Narada understood that God has taken away the last bondage. So I was tied down over here because of the mother. Now I am completely free. I don't have anything at my back. So after doing all those final rites for the mother, then the Narada went to the jungle, sat under a tree, and started meditating, praying, and repeating the holy name that he received from that rishi. And because his mind was completely free from all the attachment, the mind became pure. It became pure. So what is the purity? Spirituality, spiritual thought. What is the impurity? Worldly thoughts. That is the two difference only. So when the mind is completely withdrawn, when the mind is not going to any rupa, rasa, shabda, sparsha, gandha, the form or the smell or the taste, nothing it is coming, so the mind is completely tranquil, the mind is not agitated. So that is called withdrawn. So in the yoga also they say, when you have to meditate, you have to withdraw your mind. Practice that, withdrawing the mind. Pratyahara, the word they used in the yoga, they say pratyahara. The pratyahara, ahara means aharan. It goes and collects the information. And sometimes we think that ahara, the word, means eating. No, it is collecting. And the collection may be through eyes, maybe through smell, maybe through sound, maybe through touch. So these collections goes to the mind, and that is called ahara of the mind. And of course to the tongue, to the taste. When those are not there, what the mind will do? Calm and composed, very tranquil. And in that tranquil, composed mind, the reflection of the Holy Self came. But God, he saw that God. And after seeing that God, Narada was very happy. But it says that God said to him, "O Narada, you have now my vision, but you will not see me any more. Now that you have my vision, your life will be full of joy. Go about singing the glory of God so that people become free from the miseries." So that was the life purpose of the Narada. We all know that Narada is having a veena, one type of musical instrument, and with that, taking that veena, Narada is going everywhere and is going on playing and singing the glory of God. And this Narada, in the Bhagavata also we find, now the Narada who has realized that God, the illumined soul, he is meeting another great personality, Vyasa. The Vyasa who arranged the Vedas, who composed the Mahabharata, and Narada is meeting him. Why? Those who have read that, we have heard that we have discussed those things many a times. After even composing Mahabharata, it seems, and also arranging the Vedas, the Vyasa was not satisfied. He was not feeling joy, and he was sitting by the side of a river near to his heart, and suddenly Narada appeared over there. And the Narada told him, "Why? Oh, the Venerable said you were sitting like this. What happened to you?" The question that the Narada asked to his teacher Sanat Kumar, the Vyasa asked the same question to Narada. He said, "Narada, I have done so many things. I read so many things. I composed so many things. But still I don't feel joy within. Why this?" Now from here the devotion begins. The devotional path. Narada didn't say, meditate on yourself. Narada said, you better compose Srimad Bhagavatam, the wonderful, based on the life of Sri Krishna. The Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So the Bhagavata is full of knowledge. But the 10th part of the Bhagavata is the Sri Krishna. And the question they are asking, the Arjuna's family, the Pandava's family, and the question answer goes on. Bhagavata is a pure thing, and there the person who is describing is the Shukadeva. The Shukadeva was the son of the Vyasa, and he heard those from his father, and he went to spread that message. Shuka was the Jnani, because he was not having any body consciousness. And Shuka was completely free right from his birth. But at the same time, when he heard this story of Bhagavan Sri Krishna and about the Bhagavata, he went and told to a person who was getting ready for the death, Raja Parikshit, King Parikshit. So, who composed the Bhagavata? Vyasa again. Why? To get the satisfaction. What is this satisfaction? Because it is the God's love. This love is a wonderful thing. It's a one-pointed love. I only love you and I don't want anything else from anyone, and not even from you, O God. Even if you don't give me anything, it doesn't matter. Only I like to love you. Love for love's sake. Bhagavan, the Swamivivekananda said, is the love for love's sake. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna mentioned about the two great souls many a times. And he said, one is Shukadeva. The Shukadeva, he was the ideal of the Jnana Marga. Shukadeva was not having the body consciousness at all, completely free. So that is Shukadeva. Another is Narada, and he is the ideal for the Bhakti Marga. Narada never ever stopped taking the name of God or singing his glory. He was constantly used to see the same God everywhere. And when he used to go around, he used to serve people, help people, guide people, completely engaged, always busy. Not that sitting in one place and then going on taking the name of God, nothing like that. So the Narada's bhakti is the combination of the knowledge and the work, unselfish work. And why? Because I only should realize God and other people let them be in the dirt? No, that should not be. So the Narada was carrying the mission that was given by God to him. O Narada, you have seen me. Now you should not have any doubt about the existence of God. And you know how to realize God because you have practiced those. Now you are having all other knowledges of the world that could not give you the satisfaction. At this moment, you have realized me, the God, the Supreme, and you have having that satisfaction, and you know the difference between the external knowledge and the spiritual knowledge. So now you go and teach this to the world, people of the world. Narada did that. That means the work, unselfish work. The monks are supposed to do that. Dharma palan, dharma shiksha. I always say that. What is our duty? Dharma palan and dharma shiksha. We should try to practice the dharma. And what is dharma? Keeping the promises. And what is the promise of a monk? I am not going to harm anyone in this life. Rather, I like to see that Supreme Lord, the God in everything. There will be no friend or foe. And there is no worldly thing or this divine thing. All are same all the time. That is called the dharma of a monk. And we take the promise, we take the oath. And we have to keep that promise, keep the oath constantly burning within our mind. And we have given up, given up, given up. So that is the dharma of a monk. We should not have anything of the worldly like the possession or doing this or that. No, never, in no condition. So that is the dharma of a monk. And then that is Atmana Moksha and Jagat Hita, Dharma Palan, Dharma Shiksha. And what is that dharma? Now we are describing, trying to read and analyze the path of bhakti as we did the path of jnana. So this is the way we always try to reach out to the different people. I am very thankful to the authority of the Hindu temple, and though constantly their officials are changing, officers are changing, but they are continuing this thing. This is the wonderful way they are continuing. The great service that they are giving. I am only reading and trying to analyze and telling, but they are helping me to do that, to reach out to the people. The same way the many other devotees groups are there, they do. Now friends, Narada Bhakti Sutra, so that you will study. So 3 parts are there. First is Narada. Now we know who is this Narada. Though he was not a great in the family he was born, of course he was a Brahmin, because he always led the truth. He realized the Brahman, he realized the God, so he was a Brahmin by that sense, though he was a very humble birth and family background. So it proves that it doesn't matter where you are born, what type of language you are using, and how you are growing up, but the thing is, anyone can realize God if they are sincere. This is first. So this is Narada. Then Bhakti. What is Bhakti? The Bhakti is, in one word it can be said, Bhakti is love of God. Love we all know. The love of God is not a big, as they always say, it's not a big matter. We can love God. No, it is not so easy. We love our parents, we love husbands and wives love, we love our children, we love our property, our country, our nation, our language, our religion. We have love for all this. But the love for God is completely different. Completely different. The love for God means it is only one way love. We may not get any return. We may or may not. It doesn't matter. I love you, God. That's all. So love knows no barter, Swamivivekananda said. So I only love you, and I don't care whether you love me or not. I don't care whether you satisfy or give me blessings and fulfill my prayers or not. I love you. So love knows no barter. It goes one way. You know, Swami Vivekananda, he was a very young boy, and he used to come to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna was then a very famous personality. All great people and the very well-known people of Didain society, they used to come to Sri Ramakrishna. Naren also started coming slowly. He developed love for his master Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna showed the great concern for this young boy. When all others are there, and like a mother, and he will say, this is a very good sweet, keep it separately for Naren. Other people will jokingly say, why this, sir? We are also here, why you should not give? No, this is a separate thing. So I will give you sweets, other sweets are there, but this I will keep for Naren. Like that he used to love Naren. Everybody knew that Sri Ramakrishna loves Naren. And sometimes in the night also he will get up and ask the people, can you go and ask how is he, how that young boy, why he is not coming? So great love and so much of as if attachment. Then suddenly, just to take the examination, now when you are loving, then the children are very happy. But suppose you are not loving, well, the children will come to the same way to you? No. If you are not loving your children, the children will also slowly go away. If you are not loving your husband and wife, the husband and wife will separate. The same way, all relation depends on exchange. I will send a card in your birthday, and you should remember my birthday also. Otherwise they will be fighting. This is not love. Naren was going on getting so much of love and attention, affection from that great soul Sri Ramakrishna. And great people, they used to come to Sri Ramakrishna to get 5 minutes time, a little glance, a little touch at the blessings and all that. And here Naren used to get so much. Suddenly, whole month Sri Ramakrishna is not looking to that boy. He stopped talking about him. He stopped no conversation. And when he used to come, Sri Ramakrishna will turn his face, and it is very, very prominent that I am not liking you. His body language proved it. But even then that boy used to come, and he will be sitting over there, sometimes half lying and listening to all the discussions. Sri Ramakrishna will talk with other devotees, but not with that boy. But Narayana will continue, not 1 or 2 days, whole month. Whenever there was a chance, Narayana used to come and sit over there. After the month or so, then Sri Ramakrishna asked him, hey, I don't talk to you nowadays. I don't like you also, that you have seen. Then why do you come here? You know the answer? That young boy, he said, sir, I love you, so I come. It's not that you have to love me, not that you have to recognize me, not that you have to give me this and that. I love you. I like to listen to your words. I get inspirations from your words, so I come. That is called divine love. The love in one way. So this is the love that we are going to learn. And what about the sutra? What is the sutra it called? One is Narada Bhakti, now the sutra. And sutra in Padma Purana, it says that Alpaksharam Asamdigdham Saravat Vishyato Mukham Asto Bhavan Baddham Cha Sutram Sutra Vido Viduhu Asto Bhamana Baddhyam Cha. A sutra is an aphorism, a statement that contains a vast philosophy within a few words. Panini, that a Yoga Sutra, that it says, and in the book that I suggested of Swami Bhuteshananda ji, you will find this sloka, and it's a sutra, few words, and it explains everything without any ambiguity, and there is no repetition, and this contains the sutra means a thread also. That's called, in simple one word, it will give the whole thing, and that is called mantra. In the mantra is nothing, very simple word, but that mantra contains everything, and that mantra Shakti, that is, they say, it comes down from Guru to the Sishya, the disciple, and if we are repeating that mantra every time, all the time, that goes on manifesting. The sutras, the aphorism, if we read, immediately a vast knowledge, a philosophy, only half a line, that will help. So this is called the sutra. The Narada Bhakti Sutra, I think so far it is 84 aphorisms, and we will be reading the very first sutra. We will just read that and we will conclude for today. In the next month we will take up the book, one sutra after sutra we will read and try to explain. Athata bhaktim vyakhyāsyāmaha Athata Brahma Jigyasa. By this way, that great our Upanishad begins. Athata Brahma Jigyasa. But here is a Bhaktim Vyakhyāsyāmaha. I am going to explain about the bhakti, the devotion now. Why this now? Why atha? So this we will explain slowly. So thank you, friends. And if you have any question, then we will be answering it.
So there are two questions. First question is from Tanya Goa. She is saying, thank you for the beautiful talk. My question is that it is Sri Vedavyasa who composed Gita. Then why do we say that Gita is Lord Krishna's advice? Is it not sage Vyasa's advice?
No, Tanya. That's a very good question. A very pertinent question, but you know the whole Mahabharata that Vyasa he composed, he wrote, there is a history. Sometimes some people they say, the Tanya's question you must have heard, that she is telling it is the Vedavyasa who wrote the Bhagavad Gita, then why we say that it is Krishna's Gita? That's a good question. But actually what happened, Vedavyasa only could hear and note and write. But it is not his original, it is all Krishna's. And all about the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita is a part of the Mahabharata, and the whole about the Mahabharata, Vedavyasa collected all information. And then he has composed those things. It is the Itihasha. Mahabharata is an Itihasha. It is a history of the India. But somehow the Europeans came and they told it is like the great book that what is that? The Homer's, that the two books, this is like that. No, it is not. It is a history. The history as a totally different. Now, your question, Vedavyasa heard the Krishna is telling like this. Now you can ask, how could he hear? You know, the yogic knowledge, the power of the yoga, one can hear even sitting in a very far place. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna also heard these. The people are talking like this. Sri Ramakrishna was so sick. He was in a Shampukur Bhati. And there, sitting in that condition, in the sick condition, he heard that one of his devotee is talking like this and crying, why Sri Ramakrishna should not come to me today? Because I have arranged this puja. The Sri Ramakrishna told the devotees who were attending him that day, you please go to him, he is crying. When they went, they found it is true. So this is the yogic power. Vyasa was having that yogic power to listen. Now whether you believe it or not, that is a totally different thing. Now if after 1,000 years the people will write, Swami Ishatmananda was giving the talk sitting in the Chicago, and Tanya was listening it in India, and the people will say after 1,000 years, oh, that is all blasphemy, all useless. It is not possible. How someone is talking in Chicago and some could. So like that only, the yogic power, they could reach and they could hear, but it was, the whole Gita was said by Krishna and Arjuna. It is their dialogue between the Krishna and Arjuna, not a Vyasa. That's why Gita is Sri Krishna's Gita.
The next question is from user by the name of Top 10. He's saying, path, devotion and knowledge both tell about forgetting self of ignorance. Devotion tells up to Hiranyagarbha, where no individual intelligence does not remain. Reach up to Hiranyagarbha means salvation.
Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he said that you are telling that the knowledge, path of knowledge takes us to the ultimate, and path of devotion takes us to the Brahma or the Hiranyagarbha, and not, or we can say the Saguna Brahma. Brahma or Saguna Brahma or the Hiranyagarbha, that is the conception. But up to that only. But Sri Ramakrishna said it takes us to the root, and we can merge into that if we want. That is the God, that is the Supreme God. He has adopted his own knowledge, his own Shakti, that is his Maya, and then he is doing the creation and sustaining and the dissolution. He has all power. Now if we go and pray through the path of bhakti, if we go and pray, I like to see your form, that is the Brahman, all-pervading consciousness. Can't he show it? He can. Like the Arjuna, when he was asking, you are telling that you are the beginner, you are the maintainer. Is it possible, Krishna? You are just of my age, you are my friend. Can you show me that? Then the Vishwarupa he showed. And Arjuna believed that. Same way, Sri Ramakrishna said, even through the path of bhakti, you can get Brahma Jnana. Thank you.
The next question is from Sima Vishwas. She is saying, parents love their children, but when they grow up, they can't understand why.
No, they understand. But the thing is that by that time when they grow up, they are connected with so many other things. Previously, the children's love was a very close association. They will be holding the hand of the mother, they will be running around her, they will be constantly having the company of the mother because there was no other thing. Then slowly you are asking the child to grow, to go to school, to go to college, university, to go for the job. Then you are asking the child to marry and settle, and how can you expect that boy or girl will come and behave like a baby? And even if they do you think you will like it? No. So the love is there. Children, they love. I have seen the children over here in America, they are literally crying for their parents. Now this COVID situation, I cannot go, how my mother is. They are really crying, trying almost regularly keeping touch with them. But they are busy. Their job, they are compelling them to work for 12 hours, 14 hours. And if you, every moment, if you, mother, how are you? It is not possible. And mothers also, the parents also should not expect that. They should be happy that my son, my daughter, my children, they are now standing on their own feet, and I am very happy. So they love, but the expression of love is a little different. That's all. Thank you, friends. Thank you for attending this class. Let us say Shanti for 3 times and we will conclude. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.